Hi, in this tutorial we're going to talk about publishing content to Enterprise or ArcGIS Online. You'll notice that my IDE will look different, and that's because in this example I will be using Visual Studio's code to show you that you can use multiple different IDEs to do your development, so even with the Jupyter environment. So it's going to start first by importing your imports. We're going to import OS, request, temp file, and then we're going to import our ArcGIS library from arcgis.gis, import GIS. And then we're going to connect to our online organization. This is going to take a few seconds, and we're going to use the profile security model in order to log in. I'm going to connect by using username and password. When you publish content or add new content, you have to be authenticated so it knows where to store the information. We're going to create what are called hosted services that exist on the cloud on ArcGIS Online. You can have hosted feature service layers, you can create views off of them, you can have WFS layers, tile layers, vector tile layers, scene layers. You get the idea. You can publish maps and data as hosted layers in ArcGIS Online, and you'll be able to work with them afterwards. And but the most common one I would say are feature services, and there's associated layers. For this example, we're going to use free data provided by GeoFabric, which is a subset of the OpenStreetMap dataset. And we're going to go ahead and download this shapefile, and there's an associated link within the exercises that are posted on the class GitHub site. So I'm going to use the UUID library to make sure that my file name is unique. I'm going to use that ospath.join that we saw in the content add video. The location of the file is here. We're going to use requests within a with statement, so it'll close the request after this one process is done. We're going to make sure that the URL works, see if it raises a HTTP status code, open up the file that we want to save it to, and then we're going to chunk out these the responses into small pieces and write it to the file. Once we have our file, we're going to use that gis.content.folders.get to get that folder. In this case, I want to put it in my root folder, and I'm going to go ahead and add it. I have to specify my item properties. We have our title and type, which are the minimums, and then I'm also going to add some informational tags. I'm then going to go ahead and pass in the file name, and since I just want the item and I'm not concerned about looking at the individual steps, I'm just going to go ahead and call results on it right away. This will take a few seconds to download because the Iceland dataset consists of multiple shapefiles. It's going to go ahead and pull that information down, and once it's down, we'll get an item result that looks something like this. So we have our item that displays as below. I explained before what was going on, but we basically are using temp file requests and the folder.add to add the item. Now that we have our item, on the item there is a publish method, and you can pass in multiple things. In this case, we're going to provide in a name and a description. We provide the name in because we're using shapefiles, and the shapefile class at times does not find the service names very well. At least I find. So I'm going to go ahead and call publish, and this will take a few seconds, and we can go and take a look at what our services look like in a second. I'm going to pause the video and I'll bring it back when it's completed. All right, and we're back. So after the magic of editing, it took 6 minutes to publish this very, very large shapefile, and we're going to go ahead and view it on our map. To view it on the map, we're going to do gis.map, and then we're going to call over the location of Iceland. We're going to add our data set, and then we're going to display the map. Our map loads all the data sets in because we published it from from a shapefile, and we can go ahead and take a look at the individual layers that are associated with this. So when we look at the content of the map, we see that we get back a group layer, and within the group layer it contains multiple feature layers. So you can see that there's 18 layers within that actual Iceland data set that we created. So publishing is pretty straightforward. Just to go back over what we saw, we took an item, we added it, and then we called item.publish. Sometimes, depending on your data type, such as shapefiles, and I would even venture CSVs, it is a good practice to provide a name of the service in to that data set so it knows what to call the service and give it a meaningful name. And then you call publish. It'll go ahead and create that hosted feature service layer that you want, and then you can go and use it in your other operations down the road.